Restaurant Worm, trip of a lifetime. Let's fucking go. I just got a notification in my email that I got a new comment on my Waiting on My Moment music video. I was skeptical, like, let's see what this shit says. So the comment read verbatim: I think this would do better on a different, more original beat and a faster tempo. Keep writing and keep trying to do better. It's all about practice and reps while trying to improve. Everyone can always do better, and no one is ever good enough. Succeeding isn't as important as trying, and success doesn't happen if you stop trying. Thanks for the words of encouragement, random YouTube commenter. The unsolicited, passive-aggressive, constructive criticism is exponentially more intolerable than when people are just outright hating on my music videos. It digs under my skin when I'm reading it for the first time, but once I digest it, I don't give a fuck. It's laughable, but the joke's on me until it's not, unless it always is, and then I just perish a homeless virgin one day. It's all good. It happens to some of us. The Drake-Kendrick beef recently came up on Rogan's podcast. Finally, Rogan sees something the same way as I do, but Rogan's reaction to it was the same way I've seen any other rap beef in the last 20 years. I don't fucking care. And then he went on to say something that sounded like he's been to my YouTube channel and he was subliminally referencing me. But he said something like, instead of fighting back and forth in their music, they could be writing rhymes about the universe. He said something like that. If he hasn't been to my YouTube channel, after hearing him say that, he really needs to go to my YouTube channel. But I think rap beef is just so fucking corny. And now with this Diddy shit surfacing, you see how often it's even manufactured solely to create revenue. But what's shocking is how people my age still feed into rap beefs. It's one thing when we were in high school and the original like beef DVD dropped and we were kids listening to the stories of our favorite rappers telling the tales of who was beefing with who when they were coming up. But now we're like all middle age and people still get caught up in some rap beef with kids like half their age. I'm a 40-year-old virgin who's declared bankruptcy twice. I have other things to worry about. I don't understand how people still give a fuck about that shit, but I do understand it because people are just extensions of what they were, and a lot of people are just extensions of kids excited to hear about what rappers beefing with who and who bodied who on the track. I see it all as just another distraction. Whether it's the Drake-Kendrick beef, George Floyd, Caitlin Clark, Donald Trump, the Ice Bucket Challenge, Jordan or LeBron, how high the Powerball jackpot is, like, there's always something or somebody for people to obsess and feed their energy into. And now that I have the perspective of like a self-proclaimed rapper, I think rap beef is like the corny shit in the history of the universe. I'm so sure I'm about to sit down and write rhymes about some dude I don't like. I envision myself sitting there with the pen in my little rap book, deep in thought, like, what rhymes with I hate you? Creating a verse is like a really intimate process in my opinion. I'm not memorizing a verse about somebody I don't like and being totally consumed by that person. I feel like I lost the second I sit down to write a verse about somebody. And everything I create is like part of the puzzle that is my catalog. I couldn't imagine a piece of that being some diss track about another rapper. I start rapping to express myself, not to sit around and write rhymes about other people. But I literally haven't even heard Drake or Kendrick's tracks. I just don't even fucking care to hear them. I have like no interest the slightest bit. And now I was going to talk about how I had a grocery order the other day where the customer got like 8 1.5 liter bottles of water for $3 a bottle. But then I had a bigger delivery when I was working on this episode and they got a bunch of packages of Smart Water and they literally spent $92 on water. The proof is in this receipt right here. Like, you can't really see it there, but I swear, like, I'm not lying. Like, there's $92 worth of water on this Randall's receipt right here. But, like, who the fuck spends $92 on water? And the answer is sick people. Normal people don't do that. And then when I dropped the order off, it was, like, a big order to bring in. So the guy was, like, waiting at the door to grab it as I brought it to the door to help out. So the door was wide open, and as I'm approaching it, I could just smell the fucking stench of cat piss or cat litter. Whoever the fuck makes houses reek like cats, their fucking house smelled like it. It just smelled so fucking disgusting, yo. And I was like feet away from the door and I was smelling it. And there was a lady inside who I couldn't see, but the guy who greeted me at the door was like talking to her like I talked to my mom. He was like, I told you, I got it. Anytime like I would hear her voice, he would just like yell on top of her like, I told you, I got it. Like, that's how I speak to my mom. But that's why I need distance between my mom, because I don't want to speak to her like that all the time. And if I'm living with my mom, then I'm gonna talk to her like that all the time. But when I'm states away from her, it's all good. But like, I don't know what their relationship was, this guy and the lady inside the house, but he seemed like a bigger virgin loser than me, if that's possible. So it was probably his mom, unless like he's in like a companionship relationship with another sick person. But like, I think the mental health care industry is a farce, and they're capitalizing off of more or less healthy people feeling generally natural emotions. But I know mental illness when I see it. And there was severe mental illness in this household where I was doing the delivery. I don't mind working all day, but I hate catering to mentally sick people. And it's one thing if I'm grabbing normal groceries for a mentally sick person, but I hate seeing mentally sick people spend $92 on water, and I'm delivering it to them and catering to them. Like, it bothers me, yo. And then, like, here's the kicker. Today, before I started recording, I did a few deliveries. This is like one of the deliveries I did right before I started recording. It was another delivery from Randall's. I was like, oh shit, this person also got a package of Smart Water. And then when I went to do delivery, it was the same fucking house. The same house that spent $92 on Smart Water a week, not even a week ago, like 5 days ago, just spent another $25 on water. It's fucking disgusting. And our way of life enables this type of behavior as long as somehow they stumbled upon money. They're probably living off of inheritance because their parents made money investing or some shit. I don't see these people spawning from individuals who made real contributions to our society. If they're living off of wealth, then they're living off of wealth for somebody who accumulated it in a bullshit way. But other than inheriting money, how else would they live in a house and have $92 to spend on water and pay a premium to have it delivered? I'm pretty sure those two people aren't capable of doing any type of real work. They got Smart Waters. A comedian had to have done this already, but retards pay for Smart Water. But I'm out here working for them, so it shows you where I'm at in life. And I shouldn't even be hating on them because they tipped me like $25 on the delivery. Plus, I got like $16 on the one I did today. I know, I think I got like $20 on the one I did today. I got like $45 from those people this week. But I bet neither of them worked for the money. But I couldn't imagine spending money on water. It's one thing if like I'm out somewhere, which never happens anymore. But if I'm out somewhere and I need water, I don't give a fuck paying whatever the going rate is. But I'm not buying water for my fucking apartment. I just use a Brita filter, which I'm not even using right now because I just went through another manic episode. This is my fourth one. I look at them as like badges of honor from the universe. It's literally like the universe hypnotizes me and puts me into a psychoactive trance. This one only lasted like 2 weeks and it wasn't as intense as the previous ones, but I was definitely gone again. I'm going to do a podcast where I get into it more, but it ties back to what I was just saying, because when I go through these, I get convinced that we live in a fake matrix. I'm still kind of convinced of that, but I get convinced that we live in a fake matrix, and I think that my reality is like a total lie. I think I kind of like live in like a Truman Show, like that movie, and I get convinced that Brita just filters out the minerals that's in water, and the white stuff that's inside is actually cocaine, and they're trying to kill us. But every time I go manic, I get convinced that we're actually supposed to just drink water straight from the fountain, which I'm still kind of convinced. I still haven't gone back to filtering my water. During this manic episode though, the first sip of water that I drank straight from the tap without using the Brita, but like it was refrigerated so it was cold, it was by far the best sip of water I've ever drank. It was the first time I actually tasted water. I couldn't believe how much flavor the water had. When I get quote unquote hit with the energy, it's like all my senses are exponentially magnified. Whether I'm literally experiencing something extraterrestrial and supernatural, or it's just all in my head and it exists in my subconscious, it's still the most magical experiences I've ever had in my life, and something that I hold sacred. And because I was just talking about drinking tap water, this bridges into the next thing that I want to talk about, which is buying toothpaste. If you don't see how it connects, the word is fluoride. Rogan swears by that shit. They're dumping fluoride into our water. I'm not saying it's not true, but I don't know what the fuck I believe anymore, and it sounds like a distraction. I only paid any mind because Rogan seems concerned by it. And I say this half joking, half serious, but I'm convinced it was the Brita company that sold us the propaganda about fluoride to scare us against drinking tap water and make us buy Brita filters. Maybe it was them or whoever owns the Poland Springs. You don't see that shit no more these days, Poland Spring water. I guess they tapped out all the springs. But like I had said, what I actually want to talk about though is buying toothpaste. Some things in life just bother me, and shopping for toothpaste is one of them. Every fucking toothpaste has a different selling point. This one prevents cavities. This one's for whitening. This one's for gums. This one's for plaque. It's so fucking ridiculous. Can I just get one all-encompassing toothpaste that does everything toothpaste is supposed to fucking do? And so if I want like white teeth and no cavities, do I have to buy both toothpaste and go half and half when I brush my teeth? And is the whitening toothpaste really gonna make your teeth whiter? Or is this all just fucking bullshit ass marketing? It's almost like they keep trying to think of new advertising points, so they're like, let's introduce a new toothpaste that focuses on such or such. Let's make a toothpaste that whitens their teeth. People like white teeth, don't they? So they find some bullshit-ass chemical that may or may not do anything to whiten teeth, but it's technically supposed to have some whitening benefits. So they add it to the formula and they're able to sell it as such. And they're right, everybody fucking wants white teeth, so it doesn't go away. Then 2 years later, they introduce the cavity one, and that flies off the shelves because people don't want cavities, so that one doesn't go away. And next thing you know, Crest has toothpaste for anything that you could think of, but all these toothpastes are probably essentially the same exact shit with one minor variation in the formula that basically does nothing. But it's overwhelming for me because I just don't know what to do when I get toothpaste. Like, I don't know which one to fucking get anymore. I would definitely hashtag this first world problems. And then I had a delivery from Costco the other day. I'm just so disgusted by this way of life. If I ever get to Rogan and surface myself, excluding eating out in restaurants from like 2 to 3 o'clock, I plan on totally avoiding commercial establishments. Every place is always so fucking congested. I can't deal with it anymore. It all gives me anxiety. I'm so sick of being in tight areas. I just want to exist in my own universe and be away from the fucking daily grind. I'm trying to pull out of a fucking parking spot, but I gotta wait because I'm getting blocked in by a car that's waiting for another car to pull out so that they could pull into their spot. Then when I finally get to go, I start reversing, and then my heart drops. I have to slam on my brakes because there's like people walking like right behind my car that I didn't see them inches away from fucking hitting. And then making a left turn out of the parking lot is impossible because there's a zillion cars on the fucking road, and then fucking the car behind me is trying to make a right turn, and then they're able to go, but I'm blocking them because I'm making a fucking left turn and I'm not able to make my turn. Like, I'm just so fucking sick of it, yo. And don't get me wrong, like, this is exponentially more tolerable than working a real job, but I'm just so over all the fucking bullshit. But I'm trapped where I am because I'm controlled by money. I would never sign up for this bullshit. Other people choose to live the way they do. I see it on a fucking daily basis, yo. Highlighted no more than in the Starbucks drive-thru lines. Like, if you choose to sit in the Starbucks drive-thru line, then you're fucking choosing to do it to yourself. But these people in Costco probably have 6 figures in their fucking bank account, yet they're spending half their day and dealing with this bullshit aggravation to save a few dollars on fucking wholesale items. I remember when Rita's Water Ices would give away a free cup of ices on the first day of spring, and like at first I thought it was like the most amazing thing ever, but then like I went and I realized like there was a fucking hour line for a fucking free cup of small ices. I was like, I'm not fucking waiting in that shit. It's like, how much is these people's fucking time worth? My time isn't worth that much, but it's worth more than a fucking $1.50 cup of water ices. Like, my takeaway from that was I would pay double to not have to wait in that line. But out of every place, Costco is the absolute worst. Specifically the one on William Cannon and Mopat. That place is a fucking zoo and animal shop there. After my last delivery that I did from there, I was like, I'm never fucking walking back into this hellhole ever again. But of course, this week I got sent a Costco shopping order, a projected 50 minutes for $40. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I figured even if it was a headache and it took longer than expected, which it did, it would still be worth my time, which it was. It's crazy how there's never any spots available in this fucking parking lot. No matter how far away you're parking, you have to find somebody pulling out because there's literally 0 empty spots open at all times. You have to do that thing where you continually drive around surveying the lot, looking for somebody walking to their car so you could follow them and wait for them to pull out. Like, I fucking hate doing that shit. The way I live my life, I never do that shit except for work. Then when you get inside of Costco, you could barely even move because it's so fucking crowded. And everybody has these big ass fucking carts so you can't walk past anybody. And I have a big ass cart too. Like, if I didn't have the big ass cart, I could walk past them. But I need to have the big ass cart because I'm fucking getting all these wholesale items. But because you can't move past anybody, you just move in a single file line at the slow ass pace that everybody's moving. It's impossible to get around in there. And everybody's carts are like filled to the brim with nonsense, like fucking pretzels and Oreos. Looking at their carts just makes me fucking more disgusted with the situation. But just so you know the caliber of people who shop at Costco, like I just said, everybody moves in a single file line. The guy in front of me saw a free sample stand, so he leaves his cart right in the walkway. Like he just walks away from his cart and makes a beeline towards the fucking free sample stand, blocking the whole line of traffic. I literally just rode through his cart with mine, pushing his out of the way. There was like a lady coming from the opposite direction who smiled because she saw what was happening, because her cart was also getting blocked by this dude. I hate being in tight spaces with other people because people are so fucking inconsiderate of other people to the point where it's rude. And nothing grinds my gears more than people being inconsiderate to others. Enfield Road is like the tightest road I've ever been on. The lanes barely have enough room for each car. There was a group of runners waiting at the light when I was driving on Enfield Road, and instead of standing on the sidewalk, this fucking bitch is standing at the edge of the street. So I gotta switch lanes to get around her. Like she's in my lane in the fucking street. If I get in an accident trying to switch lanes abruptly to get out of this fucking lady's way, that's her fucking fault for being inconsiderate. Not to mention, I gotta quickly switch lanes so you know the person in the other lane who hates their life is obviously gonna fucking slam their horn at me. And another example of how inconsiderate people are is I have to share washers and dryers in my apartment complex, and I'm so fucking sick of using the dryer and the person before me not cleaning out their fucking lint. We have like 12 dryers, like 8 of them weren't in use the other day, and they all had fucking lint in the screen. I don't want to touch people's dirty ass fucking lint. Every time I see lint in the screen, it's just a reflection to me of how inconsiderate people are of others. I hate having to coexist with other people. And I don't understand how everybody's clothes isn't always all wrinkly. I'm the only person who does this shit. When I dry my clothes, when there's like 10 minutes left in the drying cycle, I start pulling a few items out at a time, and I start folding them while it still has heat and the wrinkles haven't fully settled. Everybody else I see just fucking grabs this shit out of the dryer and stuffs it into the bin or whatever they like brought for their clean clothes. And then when I go out in public, my clothes always have wrinkles, and everybody else's shit is like always all crisp. Like I don't understand how. Like, does everybody iron all their clothes? Like, I really don't know what normal people do. And then last week when I was in line to sign up for Kill Tony, the kid in line behind me was like, do you know what we're signing up for? And gave me a good laugh. I should have been like, yeah, it's a free lottery. Come back at 8:30. Every 15 minutes they call out a new name, and if you hear your name called, then follow the kid Colt and he'll bring you to your prize. The kid had thought it was like some type of weed event. He definitely didn't want to be signing up for Kill Tony. And contrary to popular belief, this is just further evidence that I am indeed nice to random people. If someone asks me a real question that they need the answer to, then I'm happy to be of help. But if I don't know you, then don't fucking start talking to me just because you love hearing yourself talk. Start a fucking podcast. And then that same Kill Tony night that I just referenced, when I was walking there, some girl standing outside of a bar handed me like a business card and goes, if you come to this show, I get a chance to live out my dream. It was obviously for like a comedy show because that's what everybody's dream is these days. I feel like a lot of people right now are scrapping, looking for purpose in life, a hobby to be passionate about, and some type of entry into the content realm. And if you're a basic vanilla ass white person, stand-up comedy's the only option. Everybody thinks they're funny, and that's the realm where there's opportunity right now. But when she said, if you come to the show, you can help me live out my dream, it had me thinking so many thoughts. But the first one that came to mind was, it's funny that you're trying to live out your dreams because right now you're living out my fucking nightmares. I'd rather be an Uber Eats driver forever than try to sell shows. I fucking hate selling shit. I didn't start rapping to turn into an annoying salesman. If that means I'm not willing to do what it takes to be successful in the entertainment industry, then fine. I guess I'm just not built for this shit. But then don't be surprised when all your famous artists are great promoters but trash entertainers. Being a promoter and being an artist are counterintuitive to each other. Exceptions exist, but the best artists hate promoting and the best promoters aren't built to create. I once overheard a comic who was all excited talking about how he barked like 20 people into the show show the previous night. Barking is what that girl was doing. Not one mention though of how his set went that night, but it didn't matter because it was a successful night to him because he got 20 people in the door. Maybe if people put that much energy into their creation process, then their bits would be half decent. And I just said, like, I guess I'm not willing to do what it takes to be successful in the entertainment industry. Like, that's obviously said tongue-in-cheek because I've upended my life on multiple occasions trying to bring this dream into existence, but I won't stand outside of a bar feeling lost as a motherfucker, begging people to come to some shitty ass open mic, and I'm not selling tickets to my friends. I didn't get into this shit to tax people in my universe to support me as an artist. I hate selling shit, and I hate when people try to sell me shit. I hate the whole salesman thing, and I didn't start doing this just to become that. When I started rapping, I was put up on somebody who runs shows. I reached out to him, and quickly I found out what it is. There's no audience, so it's on the performers to bring people. You're required to sell a certain amount of tickets to each show, and they pitch it to you like it's a come up. You just got to purchase 5 tickets, and you only got to give me 10 for each ticket, and then you sell them for $20 each, so you make an easy $50. Like, I did it twice. I just paid $50 to perform and threw away the tickets because I'm not fucking selling tickets to my friends, and I'm not even trying to drag friends out to fucking some shitty ass open mic when they fucking work the 9 to 5 all week. But like, I saw those events for the farce that they were. There's no audience. People just come to support the artist that they came with and then they leave. Those events exist so the promoter can make money. They're air shoveling events. If I think that's my path to quote unquote making it, then I'm fucking oblivious. And ever since then, I've resented shows where they put it on the artist to get people in the door. I'd rather just not perform. My philosophy is if you don't have an audience, then you don't have a fucking show. And paint to perform is in reference to like rap open mics. The girl that I was talking about, in her defense, she wasn't trying to sell a show. When they bar for comedy, it's very often for like free shows. The bar just wants them to get people in the door, but I still don't like it. I don't like it from either end. I don't want to pressure people to come watch a show, and I don't want to be pressured into coming into some fucking bar to watch a show. But so back to that girl saying, come to this show so I can live out my dream. I just want to be like, you know, you don't need me to come to that show for you to live out your dream, right? There's like 10 comedy open mics in Austin every single night where you're not required to bring anybody. If her dream is simply to do stand-up comedy, then she could live out her dreams here like 5 nights a week, just like the other 10,000 open micers that are out here living out their dreams. So is just doing the art form her dream, or is her dream actually to make it? Is it all about just doing her passion of stand-up comedy, or using that as a vehicle to create a life of purpose? Because that's my dream. I'm trying to make something of myself. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit, yo. My dream is not to be a rapper, a comic, or a podcaster. My dream is to take control of my fucking life by any means necessary. If my dream was to simply do what I'm passionate about, then I get to live out my dream on a daily basis when I drop these fucking podcast episodes. If podcasting was my dream, I'm doing my fucking dream right now. And ironically, when this girl hit me with her little spiel of trying to live out her dream, I was walking to kill Tony on a mission to live out mine. But so let's say this girl's dream is to become a relevant stand-up comedian. I could guarantee her whether or not I go to that show that night, is it going to have any effect on whether or not she gets to live out her dream? She's going to get from point A to point B a lot quicker by trying to get employed at the comedy mothership opposed to barking outside some fucking bar. I think she just looks lost as a motherfucker out there. Her life was probably empty. She committed herself to moving to Austin, Texas for stand-up comedy, told everybody, I found what I love to do, and now she got to do what she thinks she's supposed to be doing. If you get knees deep in stand-up comedy, somebody will tell you that you gotta bark because that's part of the game. And me personally, I want no part of the game that is trying to get people to come to underground shows. And then moving on, I rarely do rideshare anymore because I just can't do the pointless fucking conversations. I only turn it on when I'm like away from my house and trying to work my way back, but thank the Lord that the fucking Dallas Stars didn't make the Stanley Cup championship. Otherwise, I would have had to keep rideshare off until both the NBA and NHL finals are done, because I couldn't sit there with every passenger doing the whole, yeah, it's crazy, Dallas has 2 teams in the championship and the Rangers just won not that long ago. I did like 3 rideshare rides all week, and the second they hear sports talk radio, they all go into that spiel. It's like the same conversation on loop, and girls are fucking these guys and bitches still won't fuck with the kid. And then on the topic of the Dallas Mavericks, one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life was the analysis of why Dallas Mavericks are bad in transition defense. The real analysis as to why they have poor transition defense is because they're constantly arguing with the referees over fouls after missing shots, and they never get back on defense. And now that I'm watching them, because like they're in the playoffs and they made it to the championship, it's shocking. I've never seen anybody complain like Luka Doncic. It's every single fucking play with Luka Doncic. I don't understand how he doesn't cringe when he watches himself on film, because the teams watch the film. It must be so fucking embarrassing for him to watch himself act like that. And he's not even right most of the time. They show the replay on TV of like what he's complaining about, and the ref was usually right, but I can't get enough of it. Like, it's so entertaining to watch. And at a time when like everybody's claiming mental health struggles, if we should be worried about one population of people, it's the NBA referees. Nobody on planet Earth takes more verbal abuse than them. And Joel Embiid is about to play on the U.S. Olympic basketball team. That's fucking shameful. There's only a few things in life that I'm gay about, but one of them is that the U.S. should take pride in winning the gold medal in men's basketball every Olympics with real Americans, with American accents. Men's basketball in the Olympics used to be a joke, but now the joke is on us. And that connects to something that I recently heard Rogan say. He was saying how stupid it is that you should have to be born on this patch of dirt to be president of the United States. I disagree. I think it's a strange thing to want to be president, and I think it's a really strange thing to want to be president of a country you weren't born in. If I moved to Paris when I was like 5 years old, I'm not about to set out to fucking become the president of France. And I know nothing about France, but I think it's the prime minister, not the president. It just sounds familiar. But I'm not going to try to be that shit either. I don't think it's a ridiculous requirement to have to be born in the country if you want to be the president. And it's ridiculous to think we can't find a quality candidate out of the people who were born here. I say this half joking, but half serious. I figured it out. Drew Holiday from the Boston Celtics should be president. He's the best we got. And then moving on, but like kind of like the meat of what this episode is, I have 100% locked into Gianna Dior as my special one. I've been saving it for her for 40 years now. If she's single and her personal life allows for this, then I basically have no doubt that she would be down to fuck with me. If she discovers me, I think she's gonna be absolutely fucking obsessed with me. I've never been so sure of myself that a girl will like me and that the chemistry will be electric, specifically with such a hot girl. And now like mad porn content keeps popping into my YouTube algorithm, especially Gianna, because like I click on her shit, but like I saw one clip that was titled Gianna likes gangster white boys. I was like, oh my god, this dirty little slut will fucking love me. I wouldn't call myself a gangster white boy, but by society standards, I definitely am. And I'm assuming she's talking about people like me when she says she likes gangster white boys. I'd imagine she much prefers some kid who speaks slang and raps about the universe than some like real gangster who's out there in the streets like really about that life. And then I heard her say that she's an introvert until she fucks a guy and then she's the boss. I love everything about that statement. It's different when you're around people you're comfortable with, but in like social settings, my favorite people are always the quiet ones. I call it playing the cut. The people that I always like are basically outgoing introverts. But she said she's an introvert, but that changes when she fucks a dude and then she's the boss. That shit makes my dick hard hearing a girl talk like that. I'm gone the second I think a girl has no respect for me, but like I love being bossed around by a girl with this mutual attraction. It's the exact dynamic I was talking about during the Porn Vision episode. The girl's in control and the guy's her sex slave, but it extends more than just sex. If a girl has sexual power over me and she thinks I'm cute and actually respects me, then I'm at her disposal. She wants me to go to the store get her a Gatorade, then I'll fucking go to the store get her a Gatorade. When I come back, she tells me eat her pussy, then I'll fucking eat her pussy. Then if she leaves the sheets soaking and tells me to do the wash, I'll lick the pussy juices off as I'm throwing the sheets into the washing machine. I really don't fucking care, yo. Like if I like a girl, like I just like to be around them, and like as long as she respects me, then I just want to be her little bitch. Her bossing around is fun to me. It turns me on. But like I said, I'm out the door the second I feel like she doesn't actually respect me. The girl respecting the guy opposed to look at him as like a pushover is the difference between that being fun or it being a toxic relationship or like a friendship or whatever. And then like another thing I heard her recently say after I dropped my last episode was she was asked if she ever has like bad sex, and she said yeah, sometimes it's not good. And the interviewer was like, what happens? Like the guy comes in 2 seconds, and she was like, no, that's actually flattering. That's how I know like I love her attitude. I've been waiting my whole life to hear one girl say it's a compliment when a guy comes quickly. It means the guy thinks the girl's mad hot. Like girls should want guys that are excited to be there. Obviously like I get how coming quickly could fuck up up the moment, but it bothers me that girls get mad at guys for coming quickly. There's going to be a day that all those girls are wishing they had guys coming in 2 seconds. If a guy comes instantly, a girl should just tell him to eat her pussy while he recharges. If a guy's that turned on that he came so quickly, then chances are he's going to be able to get hard again. My first load every day just runs through me. If I actually start hooking up with girls, I love the idea of getting head, blasting the first cum shot wherever she wants it, and then focusing on her, like eating her pussy while I recharge. And then the next time that I get hard, I'll actually be able to fuck her for longer than 5 seconds. I couldn't imagine like hooking up with a girl and coming less than 3 times in a night. And I feel like the second and third loads are when like prolonged intercourse is supposed to happen. If anything, I would want to hook up with a girl with her under the presumption that the first load is going to run right through me. And if she doesn't want that to happen, then we're going to work together to keep it in my system and edge it. And then that could be fun. In my opinion, the key to not being a bad hookup for a guy is getting your dick hard in a timely fashion. There's more to a good hookup than just that, but that's where it starts. And that's the breaking point of what makes for a bad hookup. When a guy's not getting his dick hard, the hookup just drags, and it must be terrible for a girl. Except for like men past their prime, I never used to hear stories of like men not getting hard. Embarrassing and bad sex always associated with the guys coming in 2 seconds. But now, like, it sounds like fairly prevalent of like hearing stories of guys not getting hard. I heard Gianna talking about not being able to film with a guy in porn because he couldn't get hard. When male porn stars are out there struggling, I find it empowering because I used to think that like not spraying cum everywhere the second a girl takes her shirt off meant that you're gay. But now that like I know it doesn't always go down like that, it just fuels me with confidence and sends me down the opposite trajectory that I was on. Now instead of going in feeling like I'm this lame compared to other dudes, I feel like I'm the one with the crazy sex drive once we turn it on. Once I get momentum, I'm going to be a sexual machine and always ready to go. And the truth of my existence is that I am indeed a homosexual man, and I try to hook up with Gianna or whoever is down for this, and like I'm just not into girls like that, then I'll just start hitting up the gay bars and cleaning up there and showing the guys that I'm a sexual machine. And as if this is breaking news, everybody's so fucking pathetic. When I hear a girl on a podcast freely talking about sex, my first thought is, oh hell yeah, she seems like a cool ass girl. Too bad all girls aren't like this. I think there's nothing more awesome than a girl with a free spirit that has no shame in talking about sex. But then when I go into the comment sections on YouTube videos, it's the polar opposite perspective. Every comment, and like these are guys leaving comments, every comment's like, imagine dating this filth, where I feel so bad for her. She literally has no soul. Or like another one I see is like, one day these girls are gonna realize that what's on the internet is there forever. But there's one comment that's like the most prevalent. It's the one comment that these losers love saying some type of variation of, and it's, her father must be really proud of her. It's so fucking tired. And I will say though that like they have a point, because in my opinion, when a girl does porn, the only people that she does have to explain herself to are her parents and her kids. And obviously like no father wants their daughter doing porn, but not every girl revolves her life decisions around what her father would think. It's her life and she has the right to do whatever the fuck she wants. And I look at it from the polar opposite lens of everybody else. If your daughter turns to porn for money, then blame nobody but yourself for bringing her into a life of financial pressure. I heard Gianna Dior say that she was recruited to do porn by some guy that she matched with on Tinder. And at the time, she was working 2 jobs and going to school. She was fucking sick of the bullshit. And she said her thought process was, I do this shit for free anyway. If fathers don't want their daughters doing porn, then bring children into a life of financial stability and security. It's as simple as that. If you bring children into a cold world, then you might see a reflection of that in their lifestyle. As long as they're like not victimizing other people, then they're doing nothing wrong in my opinion. Specifically if everything they're doing is legal. And on the Porn Vision episode, I said that like real girls have infiltrated porn. Is there any like more clear example than this? She was just like a real regular girl swiping on Tinder when she matched with that guy and then got into it and filmed her first scene. And that just highlights how thin of a line and arbitrary of a boundary it is between a girl doing porn or not. Who she is doesn't change the first time she fucks a guy on camera. But I will say though, like, ever since Gianna Dior fucked one guy on camera, she's done it mad times. And then I saw a clip from a podcast hosted by a lady who's a former porn director, and listening to her conversation with the porn star is a microcosm of why I think most porn is stale as fuck. But it's ironic that this specific clip popped into my YouTube feed, because I'm not like searching like how to be a male porn star or anything, but the video was titled "What Men Need to Know Before Getting Into Porn," and the porn star who was being interviewed gave such a fucking eye-roll answer. She went on a rant about professionalism. No matter where I'm at in life, there's nothing more annoying than people complaining about other people not being professional. I can't stomach those types of people. When a girl starts barking about professionalism, I instantly know it's not a girl I want to fuck. I think people live like that are so unattractive. People downplay how much a girl's personality and attitude matters for sex. And a girl who has a stick up her ass and is complaining about guys not being professional clearly doesn't have a free spirit, and that's not who you want to watch have sex, in my opinion. And case in point is what her example was of what male porn stars do that's so unprofessional. She said sometimes the guy tries to get head when she's getting her makeup done. That sounds exactly like some shit I would do. And then in that same clip, that porn chick went on a tangent about how filming porn isn't as glamorous as guys looking to get into the industry might expect it to be. A lot of time it's painfully hot in the warehouse, and you're filming with a person that you're not attracted to, and to get the best shot visually, a lot of time you're fucking uncomfortable positions that don't necessarily feel good. Like, if you wonder why I think most porn is stale as fuck, look no further than this girl's answers and the director co-signing everything she's saying. I don't want to watch two people who aren't attracted to each other having manufactured sex in some weird positions that don't even feel good. It's so ridiculous that these chicks are sitting there like, yeah, this is just the way porn is, and guys who want to get into industry have to accept it. Like, God forbid you only pair people up with people that they're actually attracted to and that they want to have sex with. And my takeaway was, people like this lady directing porn is probably why most porn sucks. She's clearly not somebody who religiously consumes porn. Just because a shot looks good visually doesn't mean it's necessarily arousing to watch, and someone who doesn't religiously consume porn isn't in touch with what's actually arousing in porn. In my opinion, the way to film arousing porn is just put a hot girl on camera who's unapologetically a dirty slut, bring in a horny guy who she thinks is cute, and then try to capture primal behavior by the girl when she's turned on. The more kissing, spitting, and licking by the girl, the better. Like, hot girls getting turned on and kissing, licking, and spitting is the key to porn, in my opinion. When a girl is doing primal shit with her tongue, that's what's most arousing to watch, at least in my opinion. And right as I was about to finish drawing up this episode, I actually saw that Gianna Dior has a podcast that she kind of started but like doesn't do it consistently. If this bitch sees my podcast, she's either going to be obsessed with me or she's going to get a restraining order against me. But I like her podcast. So far, I've only seen a couple snippets. I like listening to her talk, and I think she looks adorable hosting her podcast. But the podcast is called Eargasm. Half of me hates the name and half of me loves it. But I think it's perfect that she has her own podcast, because if she's down for this, then my goal is to fly out to wherever she's located, probably like assuming LA. And during that time, like, I just want to film mad podcasts with her, because like a lot of the sexual episodes that like I want to do and that like I've already started scripting, it's all stuff I'd rather say directly to the girl who I'd be losing my virginity to. But in the real world, like, a girl just isn't going to sit there and listen to me air out my shit for like 10 hours. But this is perfect because like it gives her quality content. I figure if this goes down, whatever we record, we could just like split up, and like she gets half the episodes for her podcast and I take half of them for mine. And if like I'm there for like 2 weeks, then like she could live separately from me, because I'll be in an Airbnb and like I won't be breathing down her neck. But like whenever she's free, we'll do podcasts during the day. And then the nights that she's free, we could like go out on like actual dates. And if she likes me, then like we could like ease into the process of hooking up with each other. And on the podcast episodes, we could give updates on how the dates went and how the hookups are going. Like, she could fucking like make fun of me like the whole episode on how pathetic I was during the date. But the fact that like she has her own podcast and would probably be down to like listen to me run through my whole story, I just think that like this makes for the perfect dynamic if her life allows for it. And I heard her say that when she's fucking guys, she kicks them to the curb like the second like they want to start dating. Like, she hates when guys want to start dating her. She sounds like she kind of like loses respect for guys once she breaks them. But I feel like she's like met her match with me. If I'm in the gutters of life, then I'm the worst. Like, I'd be professing my love to her, that she's my one and only. But if this goes as far to reach her, then I'm literally never gonna be in a monogamous relationship in my life. Like, not a girl alive would be able to break me. I'm not trying to get into a monogamous relationship. I'm just looking to live a life that basically revolves around sex. As long as I still have the drive, I just want the rest of my life to revolve around it. But like, what I want to do is fuck the shit out of her and then become besties with her going forward. That's like always what my dream was, to break through sexually with like a cool ass chick and be besties with her going forward, and just fuck on the side whenever we're both single. I may have found my perfect one. Star worm, trip of a lifetime. Let's fucking go.